Welcome back, YouTube. Today I'm going to be talking about the 11 items I believe are not worth it after these crazy price increases that we've been seeing from luxury houses lately. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that red subscribe button down below. And at the end of this video, don't forget to go and check out my 11 items that I think are totally still worth it that I did on Saturday. Now, with that, let's get started. So first up, this hasn't necessarily had a price increase, but I think that it was introduced at a way too high price. And that is going to be what I call the Chanel trash bag. It's technically the Chanel 22 bag as it was released in 2022. This bag looks like a trash bag to me, and they're charging $6,000. $6,000 for this bag. Like, yes, their classic flaps are out of control, but we know those bags hold their value. Yes, a lot of their bags in general and their shoes and everything else at Chanel is out of control in terms of their prices. But this one, being introduced at $6,000, just blows my mind. I don't see how anyone has bought this bag. Moving into items that were hit with a price increase, I think that one of the most brutal price increases of this year, because I'm ignoring the classic flap price increases, but I think that probably the most brutal price increase this year to me was the Louis Vuitton Capucines bags. These bags went up between $1,000 to I think $1,600 a bag. The mini, which hardly holds anything, is now selling at $6,100. If I'm going to get a mini bag that hardly holds anything, I'll go to Chanel and I'll get one of their mini bags for $4,400. I'm not getting a Chanel mini because that's ridiculous for a mini bag. But you see my point. The price of Louis Vuitton's mini bag just doesn't make sense. That thing goes up for the BB size in the Capucines, and the MM in the Capucines is over $7,000 now. And I think that is just so incredibly ridiculous, particularly given that these bags don't hold their value the same way that Chanel bags do. I can buy a Chanel classic flap and I can flip it and get my money. I can carry it for several years and then sell it and still get my money. I cannot do that with the Louis Vuitton Capucines bag because they don't hold their value, and I'm not sure why Louis Vuitton, knowing that so many people are going to the resale market for the Capucines, knowing that it sells for so low in the resale market, why they would continue to increase that price point to continue to drive resale market sales. Now, I think that another item that was brutally hit with a 37% price increase here in the US is going to be the Louis Vuitton Mini Pochette. So this bag back last October was $450. The price increase that then happened bumped it up to $545, $540. It is now $745 for a mini pochette that does not hold your phone. So you cannot use it as even as like a decent size like mini bag because it can't hold your phone. And they're charging just ridiculous price for it. I mean, a couple of years ago, this thing was $350. And so the fact that it's more than doubled in about 2-3 years is insane to me. And it's a product that is doubling when no one can even seem to get this bag in store. Well, this small leather good in store. And you can't find it online. You can't find this thing anywhere. And I think that all that this is going to be doing is driving up the price on the resale market even further. And I think that's why Louis Vuitton has done that big of a price increase, because these mini pochettes are going for $700, $800, $900 on the resale market, and they want to cash in on that as well. I don't believe anything that these companies are saying about these being due to inflation and rising cost materials because of the fact that they're doing things like a 37% price increase. That's not about inflation. That is purely about corporate greed and wanting to have more profits. Speaking of that, another item that I no longer feel is worth it, and it breaks my heart to say this, is going to be the Louis Vuitton Victorine wallet. I love my Victorine wallet, but at $750, there's no way that I would rebuy it. I got this item, and I want to say 2018, 2019. I think it was 2019. So I got this wallet in 2019. When my dad brought it back from Europe once the VAT came in, it was, I think, around $350, $360 for me. The sale in store, I think, was $400 plus tax in the US. It's now $750, and I'm sorry, but it's just not worth it. I love this wallet. I think it's a fabulous wallet, but at this point, I wouldn't repurchase it. I'd head over to Gucci. Speaking of Gucci, 2 items I don't think are worth it. First up is the Bamboo 1947 re-release of the Bamboo top handle bag. I love that bag. I think it's fantastic. If I'm going to get that bag, I'm going to pay between $400 and $1,000 on the resale market, depending on condition, for the vintage version. Otherwise, I would be paying, for a small Bamboo top handle bag, $3,300 in store. Now, yes, I get the fact that this version comes with the canvas strap and the thin leather strap. I can purchase straps if I want to wear it with a strap. I don't particularly like the canvas strap with this bag, and I know that's a big selling point for a lot of people. And so if that's what you want, and if you feel like it's worth it for you, go for it. I feel like that really, even also looking at the Jackie bag price, which is the same, the Gucci Diana tote, which is the same, I'm just not sure that they're worth it unless the upgraded features are really, really important to you, like having the straps for the top handle bag, having the shoulder strap for the Diana bag. Even then, I think it's questionable if those items are really worth it at that price point. But the Gucci top handle bag, being such a small bag and at that type of price point, I think that for that type of a silhouette, I'm going to head over to Louis Vuitton and get the loop bag. Now, another item that I don't think is worth it is an item that has become super popular, and that is the Gucci key pouch. And I think there are 2 key pouches technically. There's one that's more flat, and then there's this rounded one. I'm talking about the rounded one. So pre-price increase, this was already at $350, which to me was a lot given that the small cosmetics pouch was also selling for $350. The key pouch has gone up to $495. It's $500 for a teeny tiny little pouch. And it's just not worth it. There's so many other better priced Gucci items if you're wanting a Gucci web item, and there's so many other better priced small pouches at different places that I just don't see this tiny Gucci key pouch as being worth it, even as cute as it might be. Now, another thing that I don't quite think is worth it, and this is a personal thing, I get that there are a lot of people who love this. I know a guy, he carries this item all the time and he loves it, and that's wonderful, and I'm very happy for him. In my opinion, the Dior book totes are just not worth it. And here's why. I have a reason. It's that they are fabric, and fabric is, 1, it's not going to be as sturdy, so you're going to have to deal with sagging on the bottom. 2, you've got the fact that it's fabric, so it's going to pick and it's going to wear a whole lot easier than a leather would. And 3 is that it's fabric, so it's going to stain a lot easier than a leather bag would. I think they're beautiful. I think they're wonderful. I see why people like them. I also think that another reason why it's not as worth it at its price point as, say, for instance, the Gucci Diana or a Neverfull or an On The Go from Louis Vuitton is that the handles themselves are very short, and you can really only hand carry or crook of arm carry that bag. You can't just really sling it up over your shoulder that easily. So that's why I think the Dior book tote is just not quite worth it at the price point that it's gone up to since the latest pricing. Now, another thing that I don't think is worth it is most of the YSL bags. YSL has been slowly and steadily increasing their prices to the point where quite a few of their bags are in the price point of Louis Vuitton and Gucci bags. And while I think that YSL does make wonderful bags, I don't think that they're necessarily as wonderful as what they're charging. They're great bags. I don't think they aren't great bags. I'm just not sure at the rate that they've been increasing their prices every couple of months that the bags themselves are still worth it, particularly a lot of the bags that are over the $2,000 mark. Now, departing from bags for a minute, another thing that I don't think is worth it is going to be the Tiffany hardware collection. Now, I love this collection. I think that it is extremely edgy while also being extremely classic and very beautiful at the same time. I think it strikes that balance very well. My issue is that they're charging $2,300 for a chain sterling silver necklace. I think that is just and actually maybe higher now after the price increase. but I think that's just way, way, way too expensive for a sterling silver necklace, and the gold I think is like 4 times that price. It's in like $8,700 for the gold version, and I just don't think that they're worth that. I get that materials are expensive. I get that Tiffany has very nice sterling silver. I mean, I have on my sterling silver Tiffany key, I have on my Tiffany ring, but I just don't think that they're worth it at that price. I think that had this been more of like $1,000 mark for the sterling silver, or maybe in $1,200, $1,300, I think that would have been worth it. But honestly, they are just charging so much money for this hardware collection that I really don't see that many of the pieces being worth it. Now, 2 more bags. The next one that I want to mention is from Senreve. I love my Senreve Mini Maestro bag. The bag that I don't think is necessarily worth it from Senreve is going to be their new bag, and that's the Candace bag. Now, I thought this bag was super cute when it was coming out. I think that the functionality looked really great. My issue is that when you actually look inside the bag, the back pocket and the front pocket are very, very thin. And so what that leads to is it leads to items that you put in there, even if you're just putting in a phone, it will lead to stretching and marks in the leather eventually, I believe. And so I think that there are a lot of other really great Senreve bags that can accomplish the same thing and even do more, but are going to be at that same price point or even less. And I just don't think that this particular bag is going to be worth it, because I think that the functionality doesn't quite live up to the form that it's made out to be. And then the 11th item that I'm going to mention, this is also one that a lot of people might scream at their cameras for if you've been following fashion, and that's going to be the Fendi calligraphy bag. I thought it was super cool at first when I looked at, but the more that I see it, it's such a wide bag with such a short shoulder drop that I feel like it would just be really uncomfortable to wear. And it's not that I don't like the bag, it's not that I don't think it's cool, it's that I just think that it's not necessarily the most practical bag, particularly given its price point. I think that there are a lot of other Fendi bags that are better. I think that the Fendi First is better, I think the Fendi Baguette is better. I just don't think that the Fendi calligraphy is worth it. I think that particularly if we look at like the mini one that you're supposed to carry with like 2 fingers, that one is nearly $1,300, and I think that's a lot for a very small bag. Now, I'm also not someone who really likes the small bags, so that's also part of my thinking on this, but overall, I still don't think that bag's quite worth it, even though I think that it's super cool. So that wraps up this video. If you haven't already done so, please make sure to hit the red subscribe button. And if you didn't check it out before, make sure to check out my top 11 items that I believe are still worth it after the price increases. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, YouTube. Bye!